When a small cap company becomes one of only 3 companies on the planet to break a battery barrier, you should probably pay close attention. And that's exactly what HPQ Silicon did today when its France-based affiliate became one of only 3 companies in the world to surpass 4,000 milliampere hours. We'll talk about that, but just know it's a really big barrier. And they've done that thanks to batteries made with a blend of graphite, which is pretty standard, and their advanced silicon-based anode material. But there's more. The company believes its next-gen battery will actually break the world record. And what does this mean from a practical and commercial point of view? It means the manufacturers can adopt this advanced silicon anode material without the need for retooling, process overhauls, ultimately accelerating the deployment of high-performance batteries in the market. And as investors and shareholders, you definitely want to hear that. Bernard, let's talk about it. Welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, George. Happy to be back.
Happy to have you, man. I mean, it's like every week you're setting a record of some kind. It's like you've been on an unbelievable streak, including with other parts of the company. We're not going to discuss that right now. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Lots of new people are going to be listening. Okay, so in 1 minute, because you've got tens of, I don't know how many thousands of shareholders we've got at HPQ, but they really want to get to the meat of this. But for all the new people listening, in 1 minute, at its core, what are you doing in batteries? In layman's terms, that's where you're near breaking world records.
Okay, fundamentally, if you at the origin by our name, HPQ Silicon, is basically that we've developed a new process, the PureVap QRR, to make green silicon. Okay, and we basically realized that one of the big markets for that material, okay, is going to be in battery space. And we also realized that you can't take the material that's going to come out of our QRR and use it in batteries without modifying into another type of material. All right. So that's something we've been really focused on doing and developing and making and understanding what type of material we need to do this. Because the QRR allows us to make basically zero carbon silicon, which gives us a great competitive advantage. And in batteries, there's an issue right now. There's a deficit of graphite. Okay. So you need to be able to deal with that deficit of graphite because of the demand for everything that's coming in. You need to replace graphite by silicon. But to do that, you need to have, and in theory, the theory is silicon is a much more better electrical conductor than graphite. Okay, factor of 10, factor of 3, depending on the issue. It's a much better material to plug into it. Now, that transition, that mixture isn't as easy as it sounds. On theory, it seems very simple. You put a little bit of this, a little, it doesn't work like this. And what we've been able to demonstrate is we understand how to make that material, how to be the best in the world doing this. We've done it in full-size battery, 18650. We chose that one because that's a battery with a long history. Okay, so it's progression, it's moving forward. I've been known for a long time. And we're now, in less than 6 months, as I said in press release, we're now top 3. And the reality is we've broken the record. It's just we don't yet have the official amalgamation to say it.
All right, let's get to that. So in my intro, I said, and I quoted from your press release, you surpassed 4,000 milliampere hours. Not very many people know what that is. I don't exactly know what that is. I have a good idea, but a lot of people. Explain the magnitude of that accomplishment, and that puts you in rarefied air, one of only 3 companies on the planet that's ever done it.
Well, basically, it's part of the grail of what people in the battery space want to do. You want to increase the energy density. Now, I've explained many times, okay? The performance of your battery has to be perfectly matched to the application. So if you have a battery for EV, you want it to last a long time, all right? At one point, it degrades because a battery is basically consumable, so it gets consumed. Right, and degrades to a certain level, then you can do to other things. So the advantage of our material is that it can hold a lot of power into it. Now, depends on the application, the speed you want to draw that power and move those things. So being able to pack more energy into a small cell is better. That's fundamentally the idea. And 18650 batteries have a limited capacity you can go. Laws of physics, anode, cathode, and all those issues put together. So fundamentally, what we've demonstrated is our understanding of how we can replace graphite with our material. Okay, we're now finally moved to the partially optimized material, and fundamentally, basically keep delivering better and better results on the capacity wise. So that's what we've demonstrated so far. Remember, at the end, to make this SiOX material, we will need our Si. So this is where it fits in onto a long value chain of multiple players into it. So instead, and the other key point of what we're really working on is having a material that will not require battery manufacturers to completely change their line. They don't want to. It's going to be too expensive, too many issues. So we're playing a balance between two things, having a better material, okay, but one that won't require the entire industries to change to be able to use it. So that's
especially
really
the
what
battery in the auto industry that have massive manufacturing facilities, and it's not as simple as just adding a different sauce onto a pizza at the end of the day. So
they don't want to, because they invested billions of dollars and they're looking to make money out of those operations. So, this is where we do have a very specific advantage with the technology we're developing. And it is, it puts us in, as you said, puts us in rarefied air, being able to do these issues. It opens up multiple issues. And the beauty of this is that our results are not limited to the specific size we've tested those batteries. Okay, they're not limited to those specific size.
I'm just using that as the yardstick, but you can put in, I'm assuming you could put in different batteries at the end of the day, but you're just using that one because it's
Yeah.
so widely used and well known.
Well, it was one we were able to have done very, very quickly, as you see. And this is how we move. So we were able to do a lot of generation. So when you do the type of research, or the application research we do, you try not to change too many variables. You play around one, maybe two variables. So this is why we kept using the same size batteries, because it's a known variable. There's a lot of material tests. The overall life cycle of those batteries, okay, I've been reading this. It goes down to about 80% capacity at 300 cycles. So 300 to 500, then goes on. So if you start with a higher battery capacity, by the time you're down to 80%, you're still much higher than the 100% of the other ones. So there's so many variables to play into it. The key takeaway from this, okay, is that we have a material that's very competitive with the best material out there. And now this is starting to attract a lot of, from different scales of companies that want to come to participate with us. And I think what's gonna happen more is graphite companies, people would have either graphite deposit or graphite technologies, are gonna want to start working with us, because we can offer a complete solution.
So actually, you almost stole my thunder there, because my next question was,
Sorry.
does this put HPQ Silicon on the world map now in terms of the battery world? And if so, what kind of customers are most likely to be interested and to be picking up the phone, like I've said in our past interviews, pick up the phone and start ringing? Will it be the car manufacturers at will it be Tesla, or will it be Georgecom Battery Com in Asia that produces batteries for several auto manufacturers? What kind of customers do you think will start calling, or be attracted to this news? Or maybe it's not, maybe it hasn't put you on the map yet. That's why I asked you the first question. Maybe it's good, but it hasn't been independently verified, or for whatever reason, it's still not enough to put you on the map. What does that look like right now in terms of the world commercial space and your visibility in it?
Well, I can say that when I talk to people in the industry, they are very impressed with the results. Very, very impressed with the results. And then now it's a question. We have some industries that are saying, "Oh, we really like those type of results." Let's say for the drone industry, because they need batteries, and so the question mark we're not having from people says, "Okay, you've got this great material. Can you go and make the full batteries?" Well, no, we're just trying to make the material. So, but there is interest, because there's something to do with that material. There's some applications that can. There's some business case that can be used while using this material. Okay. Give you an example. If you use it for drones, it can be very used. But if you do drone for military application, they're not designed for long application. Everything is always a balance into it. So it's the fact that we're able to demonstrate that we can do these type of high efficiency batteries so fast, that we understand the silicon-based material that we're using. That's what differentiates us from a lot of people.
And you believe you're going to set isn't from the press release. You believe you're going to set a world record with your Gen 3 as high as 4,300 milliampere hours, which would pretty much shatter the 4090, I believe, is the current record. What would be the implications of that? At that point, does it become undeniable because you get to that number,
Okay.
you get independently verified, and then the world has to take notice? What are the implications if you get there?
Okay, let me clarify some of the things you said. Okay.
Okay.
We believe we will have an independent validation that with our Gen 3 material, okay, we will break the 4,095 world record that is presently existing. Actually, internally, we know we broke the record. Okay, it's just a question of discipline. That's why we wrote in the press release. However, validation by a third party will be necessary before the title is fully claimed. So we know that Gen 3 internally has broken the record. Okay. Now, we're not just going for breaking the record, we're going for smashing the glass window with 4,300. Okay. That's the difference. Okay. It's going to be the maximum we can stuff in the energy, we can stuff in that size batteries, but it's going to be just a demonstration. It's just trying to see how much we can squeeze into it. Now, we know if we go for different size of battery material, like a pouch type of batteries, we'll be able to have better results. We'll calculate differently, but better results. Because a cylinder batteries has its physical limitation, as a pouch has more leeway into those issues. So, but the key
Apples to
message
apples, this proves that you guys, or will prove that you guys really, really, really know what you're doing when it comes to augmenting graphite batteries with silicon oxide. But what would be the implications at that point, Bernard? Like, would almost become undeniable. Like the
that's all right.
phone has to start ringing because we don't know. Just put to perspective, shattering, like you said, by the way, shattering the glass window, another Bernieism, glass ceiling, because windows aren't made of anything but glass. But we'll talk about that's another Bernieism. Check it. But would that be the
That
implication
has to
that
be one.
like you're breaking the 4 minute mile when the 4 minute mile was broken for the first time? It went around the world and everybody rejoiced in that.
Okay,
Is that
that's
where you're
not
talking about?
in the battery space and the people that understand battery. Yes, it will bring into it. Will that percolate outside for the beginning? No, but for people that know and understand and need those type of
Yes.
batteries with high energy, of course, it's going to percolate into it.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I don't mean will it,
Yeah, yeah.
will the guy next door who doesn't know anything about it? No, obviously they're not going to know about it. But within the industry,
Mhm.
you're talking about shattering. So the difference between
Yeah, well,
4,300 and
I'm talking about
4090 would be a
the
shatter.
shattering the record for it's like an image for that size battery. All right. It's for us, it is the knowledge we've gained. Okay. Understand that with HPQ and Novation, with their limited budget, okay, we've already matched what other companies have spent a massive amount of money to do. And we understand it. And we own some proprietary technologies in doing so, and we have more to do. And we also own an incredible advantage over everybody else, okay, which is the carbon footprint. So we own those things. So eventually, the entire puzzle that we're putting together, okay, people are going to realize, oh, it's sort of a battery Mona Lisa. I don't know if that really exists, but you understand what I'm saying. So it is a puzzle that we're fitting all the pieces together. It's advancing in the right direction. There is commercial application for them. We've actually been approached by some people. Okay, can you give us some of those type of batteries? We're not in the battery manufacturing side of the business. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. It'll depend on the opportunities that come along with those issues. But silicon is going to be the material of the future for batteries. Okay. The debate right now, is it going to be SiOx, SiC, done with silane gas, done with all those type, with all their advantage, disadvantage? Was it going to be porous? It's not going to be porous. We believe, okay, SiOx is going to play a big part into it. In this regard, we're already at the top of it. All right. It's not even sure that one of the batteries that we're competing with that claims the biggest result is a rechargeable battery. Because lithium metal, yes, you can recharge, but they become very dangerous, can become exploding. You got to understand that you can make a great battery, but it can't really work for a long time or become very dangerous to recharge. So, and the second point is, if we go take a look at the graph we presented, which something really important I want people to realize. Okay.
Yeah, why don't you bring it up? You got share screen.
Yeah. Okay. Take a look at this. Okay.
We're looking at the left or the right? Which one are we looking at?
We're looking at the cell capacity development trend. Okay.
Right.
It's been going gradually up since all the way to 2015. Then it reached a 3,500, 2,600 plateau. And yet there was SiOX and graphite put into it. All right. Then there was two move, but that was all in 2022. Since then,
so all those dots represent different companies along the way, or different
different
batteries
companies, different results that were published.
Right. Okay.
So you got Nanograph that finally made 4,000 2022, and it got beaten by a hair by Empower with a lithium metal battery. One of them that we're not even sure if it's a rechargeable battery. Okay, it could be like an extra powerful Duracell battery, but it's not a rechargeable battery. Nanograph, we know it's a rechargeable battery. And here we are. Okay, so we beat Nanograph. All right, and we once we got the independent validation, we know that the Gen 3 is going to be here, and if we do make the Gen 4, it's going to be top above. But look, since 2020, it's been sort of stuck, hasn't moved any there. Since 2022, nobody has reached these levels, right?
What was that? Is that because nobody's cared or not trying it, or if people been trying it, they just can't get through? And
well,
here
you don't
are.
publish, you don't usually publish your bad results. But in reality, we haven't gotten any bad results because this is Gen 1, this is Gen 2, this is Gen 3.
What really stands out from this is this journey started in 1990, of people trying to get to the Holy Grail. You've essentially done this in 6 months. And the acceleration from Gen 2 to Gen 3 was super fast. Can your shareholders and the industry expect the acceleration of Gen 4 be just as fast?
Could be. We are going to be pushing the limit of the work we've done. Okay, that's what we're doing. We already know we broke the record, so we'll know that Gen 3 has broken the record. Okay, it's just like when you're doing like we're taking Olympic sport, when you do
runs,
high jump. Okay, you win the gold medal, you can try to go above, you can continue to go after you won the gold medal to see how high you can go. Okay, that's sort of what we're doing, because by doing those type of things, we learn a lot of things about what's going on. Okay, but we've already demonstrated that using our material, you can make a very efficient batteries. Now it's going to be the entire question of value chain, and this is where we really come into all the advantage we do. With the Gen 3, we've basically mentioned, with the QRR, we mentioned that we can convert it to make SiOX material. There's a lot of opportunities to come into it. As we develop this material, the basic premises of what we're doing is using our green silicone as a feedstock, which will completely differentiate us what we're doing. So if there's anything about that's similar to the fume silica reactor, is that the incredible carbon reduction that comes into it. No, this might not be a big thing right now, but it will be eventually. It'll be playing into it. And we're coming.
Absolutely I think we already know it is a big thing right now. You can't have Georgetown battery can't create this long-lasting battery that's also dirty. I mean, that just kind of defeats the purpose. I'm going to ask you a question. I know you're probably not going to answer. I'm going to ask you anyways. What can investors expect in terms of timelines for the Gen 4? Like the hop from 2 to 3 was pretty damn fast. Can we expect the same hop for Gen 4? Should we expect it before the end of Q3? Should we expect early Q4? Or are you gonna tell me, George, you're just gonna have to wait because I can't really give timelines?
Yeah, I can't really give time.
Next question. You moved really fast on fume silica, and I want to use that as an example. Last year from the time you first announced it that you could produce it at industry shattering levels for that you got to commercialization within a year because you announced an LOI with Evonik, who is one of the biggest companies in the world and for that industry, and in fact the inventor of fume silicon. Do you see the same kind of commercialization track for this product here
No,
in terms of
obviously,
speed, in terms
no, I don't foresee it, but there might be other ways of commercializing this that can be better. There might be some companies that says, okay, we want to license, we want to work with you, we want you to, we'll partner up with you, we'll help you do some work. You know, we have this great graphite, we want you to work together. There's so many alternative ways for us to start commercialization in a certain way of the material. Now we'll have to start manufacturing it and all those issues. But as I say, we're going to follow what I consider to be the holy grail of our thinking is we're not looking at things that are going to cost billions of dollars to go in production, not even hundreds of millions, you know, something that is very palpable for a company our size or
what does
partner
that
up with
look
other
like,
companies.
Bernard? Do you have to build a pilot plant just like you're doing with fume silica right now? What does production look like?
It's either a pilot line that's a pre-commercial pilot line, a bit like the FSR, okay, and then we'll have to build it and get that operational so that we can, you know, we demonstrate it, then we can quickly scale it up the same way as the FSR. So it's gonna follow a bit those lines. So you can anticipate the next year is going to be a bit like the FSR was a year ago.
Okay,
And
that's
then we
pretty
could
good.
figure a way how to plug in the QR. We already have some discussion with people that have massive, you know, land areas that want to work with us, and we're actually in the process of signing NDAs with these guys and starting discussion about those issues. So there is fundamental interest. The beauty of it is we have many things to offer.
Can you elaborate
All,
that a little more? Like you say
well,
talking with guys with massive land areas? Is that what you said?
well, basically, Matt, you got to understand what we're doing basically requires uh, structural land that is commercially that's applicable to industrial commercial application that already has the permitting to do these type of application. Because if you got to go through you understand if you have to go through the permitting process to get those things built, it can take many years depending where you are. So if somebody has a plots of land that wants to do sort of a green technology industrial park, then they'll be looking at a project like what HPQ has and what HPQ can offer. So we can offer the ability to make silicon metal, take our carbon with hydrogen to make synthetic green fuel, basically, and at the same time we take the silicon out of it and we make it into SiOX for batteries. So it's a very interesting proposition, and those are the type of things that we're discussing at high level.
So good to know there are those kind of discussions already happening. So there
Yeah.
is interesting. Devil's advocate, because no matter what, until the pizza is cooked and put on the table and someone's eating it, it's not there yet. So devil's advocate, what kind of risks and challenges are there still? And everything comes with risks and challenges. Even existing companies have risks and challenges when Apple launches a brand new phone or something like that. And
Mhm.
how much have you mitigated those risks and challenges, or how serious are those risks and challenges before you get to the finish line, hopefully?
Um, you just like yes, they're risk and challenges, but they're normal part. They're part of the game. They're part of the process of going forward. It's there's not something I don't foresee something extraordinary coming in. It's going to be doing the structural financing, getting the thing moving forward, getting partners into getting things the project moving. But we think that we have the goods that's going to attract people to do it. So it's just of course it's impossible for me to know the unknown unknowns, but the known that we know we're on the right track. We basically could question of having financing lined up. We could quickly build a production line to make the SiOX and get that moving because we don't
What does
need at
that
the beginning to get.
No, what does that look like in terms of, what would that be? 15 million, 50 million? Well, and then where would you there? And that dovetails into another question I had, which is God knows there are billions and billions of dollars of government grants available all over the world, the US,
Mhm.
with Inflation Reduction Act also had those grants in there. Europe, we know you got a grant on another product, I think. Was it this one or was it the hydrogen? I can't remember.
What was that one?
Pardon me on that. But
What was that
pardon
one?
me?
What was that one?
Okay. So are there is you know this must be very appealing to governments around the world somewhere,
Yeah,
especially in North America since you're here in France.
yeah.
How's that? Is that a very viable option
Well,
as well in terms
how can I say? Without getting into too much detail, okay? Based on our Gen 1 results, okay?
in one?
Gen 1. Because
Okay.
when we filed the application, we only had Gen 1 results. We've passed the first test for a big government grant program. Now, how it doesn't guarantee we got anything moving. So just based on Gen 1, so imagine them, we're going to show them Gen 3 and Gen 4, they're going to say, okay. Because we know what the criteria of the problem is. Now it's just figuring a way to make more efficiently and cheaper SIOX. That's it. And then make our engineered SIOX material. That's it. But we have ideas. We have plan about this.
Well, if are you able to talk about is it U.S., France, Canada, or you just
No, I
have
won't talk
to?
about it. Like,
Okay, I have to ask, right? No matter what, I have to
but it
ask
could be
because
it could be anywhere.
I get yelled at if I didn't ask. I get yelled if I didn't ask.
I get yelled at for other things.
Um, Last question. How do you and the Novasium team feel today? How good do you guys feel? I would have to imagine, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, that the progress you guys made in 6 months is again pretty mind-boggling. It's almost too good to be true, and it's not because obviously you guys have these out there. But how good do you guys feel, and uh, how optimistic, how positive should shareholders feel right now? Is it too early to start thinking about a victory lap, or are we on the edge? Give us a little perspective about how you guys are feeling, so everybody here can determine how they should be feeling.
Well, fundamentally, like I can talk for HPQ because I'm talking to HPQ shareholders, right? Well, fundamentally, the business plan we've presented, the strategy we're planning is coming into it. I've mentioned a year ago that we're going to focus more on the battery material because then that will give us the offtake. We will be able to do our own offtake agreement for QR3. Okay. Well, here we are a year later. We are delivering on this. We've now know how to make a material that can make batteries that like the best guys in the world doing it. Okay. So this is how good we feel. We are executing on our plan. Might be a few delays here, there, and there, but on the big picture, listen, in a year, what have we done? We've demonstrated the QRR can make 3 to 4 3N silicone, use 40 to 25% less, cut down the carbon footprint tremendously. We've proven that the fume silica reactor works. We've made material that's been validated by the biggest company, and we signed an LOI regarding potential production with the biggest company. In the battery space, we just started to demonstrate that we can make battery material, and we're actually having the top results of everybody else. So we're delivering on all cylinders with regard to what we have to do. Now comes the interesting part for us is how do we start monetizing this, okay? And there's multiple ways we can monetize, but the FSR is going to be easy one to monetize because once we make it at scale, we won't really have to put too much of our own capital into building the plants. I mean, that's going to be coming by itself. Battery size, it's going to be the same thing. There is billions and billions of dollars of grant money that's going to be offered because everybody wants to have this capacity here. I was approached by a Korean company saying we can't get the material from China. We don't want to get the material from China. Can you start, furnishing us some type of material? So the big picture we've presented, okay, is coming to fruition. We're delivering on it. We're moving forward on it. Eventually the world will wake up to this.
There you are, my man. Congratulations to you and the Novasium team on another great milestone. And this was pretty quick, actually, because I mean we're doing so many interviews. I can't remember when we did the last one when you were saying that when you were talking about surpassing these milestones. I asked you when will that be, and here you are. I
July
think it's a week
18th.
later.
July 18th.
July 18th. Okay, so here you are, like 12 days later. It's pretty unbelievable. So hopefully I'll see you again in the next 12 days. No guarantees, I guess, but
No
something tells
guarantees.
me I'm going to see you in the next 12 days. And I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to be going on vacation, hopefully, in the last couple weeks of August, so that I don't have you
Bugging you.
hunting me
Yeah.
down all over the world. But congratulations, my man. I think everyone's happy. I saw the reaction online on the different forums, especially on the Agorcom forum and all that. And it's been great. So continued success. Say hello to the Novacium team, and especially Dr. Crane there. And onward and upward, my friend.
Thank you.
Everybody at home, thanks for joining us. Have a great day. Hope you loved it. See you in the next one.
Hey Small Cap fam, I hope you loved this interview because more than a dozen people were involved in its production for the sole purpose of making you happy. If so, can you take a moment to support both our awesome guest company and Agoracom? Your engagement means the world to us. First, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up by tapping that like button. It's a small gesture that helps this interview reach even more potential investors to discover today's guest. Second, we would love to hear your feedback on this interview, so please leave a comment below. Be sure to keep it clean, but feel free to poke fun at George. If you loved what you heard on today's video and want to dig into our guest company right away, take a look at the links in the description below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another great Agoracom small cap video. Thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Make sure to come back soon.